So let me mute this. And let me turn this off. And I think that should do it. Yeah. Let me turn this off too. There we go. Nothing like a damn Wednesday to throw a wrench in every damn thing. Still adjusting to all of the bells and whistles that come with Raw Wednesdays here on the Louie T Network podcast. But there are so many topics to get to. I'm going to start off NBA. So if you don't want any parts of the NBA talk that I have for you, then you may want to take a break, go make a sandwich, go use the bathroom, and come back. Give me about a good 5 to 7 minutes to ramble about the NBA. Come back, and then we'll start talking ball. But there's so many topics to get to. We've got teams heading to camp this week. Hell, the Cowboys and the Steelers start camp tomorrow. Shit's getting real. You smell that? Smells like some bull. It's about that time, guys. It's about that time. Who else could it be? Me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to the 182nd installment of the Louie T Network podcast. I, of course, am your set man, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Again, Raw Wednesdays here on the LTN pod. We're going to take your comments a little bit later on in the show, so start lining them up, getting them ready. Use the hashtag LouieTLive if you haven't already done so. Remember, if you are out there, you want your comment to be read, make sure you're using the hashtag LouieTLive to have your comment read. If you want to jump straight to the front of the line, use the super chat function down at the bottom of the chat discussion, and you jump straight to the front of the line, and your comments take first priority. So I thank you guys for joining me. I do want to start off today's show talking a little NBA ball because I got a buddy of mine, one of my best friends, huge Phoenix Suns fan. And he went to games 1 and 2, and he was convinced they were going to win the chip after those first 2 games. I don't think he was Suns in 4, but I think he felt like it was Suns in 5. I thought he felt like they were going to maybe lose 1, maybe game 3 in Milwaukee, win game 4, and close them out at home in game 5. And I told him, we had a very frank conversation after game 2. I said, they're going to win game 3 because that's what NBA teams do. The Bucks didn't get here by accident. Now, a lot of things happened in their favor, just like Phoenix. You know, both teams were very fortunate to get to the NBA Finals. This is one of those years, and me and my buddy were talking, and I told him in that same conversation, this is one of those one-off years in the NBA. We have them once every decade or so, where there aren't any juggernauts there. The household names that are usually in the finals each and every single year, there are none of those to be found, because it's that one-off year where, you know, injuries happen, whatever the case may be, lack of cohesiveness with the new team, whatever the case may be. And you find 1 or 2 teams that nobody really expected to be there, and somebody's going to win a chip that nobody, you know, planned for. And we've seen this in the NBA, you know, for time and time again. Toronto is a great example. Nobody gave them a chance in hell to win a chip till, you know, the Kawhi showed up. And even then, it was still like, yeah, Kawhi by himself. You know, that was the beginning of Pascal Siakam turning into what he's turned in, you know, into Spicy P and all of those other guys on that roster. Fred VanVleet stepping up and doing what he did that postseason. And so they won a chip. You know, you go all the way back to the Pistons and the Spurs, one of the worst finals these eyes have ever seen. And look, you knew that one of those teams, if not both of those teams, probably didn't belong there, but they ended up there. And it made for some terrible basketball, but a chip was handed out that, you know, generally speaking, you know, those were the Laker days. You know, you weren't supposed to see the Spurs there yet. We didn't know what the Spurs were at that time. So fast forward to now, bunch of injuries in both conferences allowed the Bucks and the Suns to lock horns in the finals. and the Suns jumped out to a 2-0 commanding lead. And I told my buddy, you did nothing other than what you were supposed to do. Postseason series don't start until the other team wins on the opposition's home floor. I said, all you did was protect home like you were supposed to. I said, if you go home, or if Milwaukee goes home and they win both of those games, they're going to win 4 straight. Because technically speaking, if we're being brutally honest with one another, they have the better roster. They're the better team, and they have something you don't have, and that is postseason experience. Their team in Phoenix, they're young. Outside of Chris Paul, they got nothing in terms of postseason experience. So I said, if you find yourself in some tough spots, series tied at 2, pivotal game 5 at home, your team is they're going to nut up, essentially. They're going to lock up because they haven't been here before, and you haven't been tested this postseason. You were going to get bounced in the first round, and then AD gets hurt, and LeBron was playing banged up. And so if AD doesn't get hurt, they were up 2-1 where the Lakers when he got hurt. Like, you were going to lose that series. I told him that. He got lucky. So I said all of that to say this. They didn't win game 4. It was there for the taking. And the Bucks did exactly what I thought they were going to do. They went to Phoenix in game 5. They won, and they had a chance to close it out. They didn't win in game 6. They weren't trying to win the series. They took care of business. Giannis put up a 50-piece. And I want to stop right there because Giannis is one of my favorite players in the league right now. I've always admired Giannis's game for, number one, the growth. You look at him coming into the league as an 18-year-old, wide-eyed, skinny kid, all the talent in the world, but just skinny and, had a lot to learn about the NBA game. And you look at him now and what he's grown and morphed into and how his body is transformed. But his mind is the thing that I love. Giannis is selfless. He's not one of these guys, I got to take the big shot at the end of the game. Nah, that's reserved for Chris Middleton. But the thing I love about Giannis Antetokounmpo the most is the fact that in this day and age where guys are jumping ship to form these super teams and always looking for the advantage, the upper hand, how can I link up with some of these other guys to form this massive outfit that is tough to bring down? He's been anti-establishment. You want to know why guys around the league don't sing the praises of Giannis Antetokounmpo? When Devin Booker was having to be, oh my God, look at Book, this, that, and the third, or Chris Paul going off in game, oh my God, look at CP3, he's waited 16 years to get here. Kiss my ass. I can't stand Chris Paul anyway. You know why nobody was doing that for Giannis when he was putting up 42 this and putting up 50 that? Because Giannis has always been, I don't need to make friends in this league. I'm not out here to be playing pickup games with LeBron and Carmelo and Chris Paul and all of these dudes in the offseason. F that. I'm not your friend, okay? Y'all not on my team. I'm here to win a chip, and I'm going to do that with my boys, and I'm not going anywhere. They're going to have to come here. So I'm going to take my Chris Middleton. They traded for Drew Holiday. We're going to pick up Bobby Portis. We're going to draft guys like Dante DiVincenzo, who was banged up, and Pat Connaughton, and we're going to find a way to get it done here in Milwaukee. Now, did they get lucky? Yep. And I told Giannis, I said, Giannis, between me and you, bro, if you want this chip, because this is your one chance. A wise man once told me, you only get one opportunity to go. Don't miss it. Because opportunity only comes once in a lifetime. You better go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to go. And I said, this is it. You will not get another season where Brooklyn is all banged up and mashed up, that the Celtics can't figure shit out. You won't get another season like this where everything, the 76ers fall the hell apart and Ben Simmons stinks and can't shoot, won't shoot. You won't get another opportunity like this. The Hawks are young. That was their first time really in the postseason, getting some experience under their belt. You won't have it like this again. You've won 2 MVPs in the regular season. This is your time, bro. Take it. Seize the opportunity. He's like, you're right. I'm going to do exactly that. And he did. And the fact that he was able to get it done and never have to leave Milwaukee, never have to form one of these super teams. Chris Middleton just made his first All-Star appearance. Love Chris Middleton's game because he's a mid-range assassin. And I told my buddy, because he was ragging on Chris Middleton after game 2, I said, he's the best tough shot maker in the league. He's a professional tough shot maker. Similar to Kobe Bryant late in his career, when Kobe didn't have the explosiveness that he once did, and Kobe he morphed into this footwork surgeon and this ridiculous shot maker where you take these off-balance, weird, creative fadeaway shots and he'd make them because he had to. That was his way of surviving in the league towards the end of his career. That's Chris Middleton now in the prime of his career. He's a tough shot maker. Right in your grill, bow. Game on the line, that's the guy they want shooting the ball. And to see Giannis put up a 50-piece in the biggest game of his career and go 17 for 19 from the free throw line, I couldn't have been more proud of Giannis Antetokounmpo. Happy for him, happy for the Bucks and their fan base, but really happy because the guy that declared, I'm not going to chase a chip by forming a super team, actually was rewarded. I love Damian Lillard, but he'll never win in Portland. And that's the sad part about it is I think he's starting to realize that, and that's why he's kind of waffling on whether he wants to stay in Portland or not. Not enough help there, never going to win a championship there. And I'm glad somebody that made that declaration, I'm not out here chasing chips, going somewhere else. I'm going to do it the old school way, the hard way. I'm glad somebody was finally rewarded for that. So anyway, I digress. Don't want to hold you up. Let's get to some football, man. And I want to start the conversation before we get to gym dropping session today. I want to start the conversation with all-pro linebacker Fred Warner getting broken off. That's my guy. If anybody out there has been watching the Louie T Network for any amount of time, then you know I've been a Fred Warner guy since the word go. That was my guy coming out of BYU. I didn't know he was going to be this good. I'd be lying to you if I said I thought he was going to be this good, but I knew the guy could play ball. But to the extent that he's playing right now at the level he's playing at, I don't know if there are any inside linebackers better in the league than Fred Warner. And now his contract reflects that. Guy signed a 5-year, $95 million extension with the 49ers. $40.5 million of it guaranteed for the best inside linebacker probably in the game. And I know there are Seahawks fans that'll say, what about Bobby Wagner? There are Indianapolis Colts fans that'll say, hey, what about Darius Leonard? Those guys are all great candidates, but give me Fred Warner. I've been talking about that for the last 2 or 3 years strong. Give me Fred Warner. And now he's making $19 million per. That is tops among NFL linebackers. Good for him. Now the Indianapolis Colts are on the clock with Darius Leonard. He is now due his long-term extension, and that's going to come in. And that may exceed the one that was just signed by linebacker Fred Warner. But I love his game, love what he's done for that 49ers defense. To me, he is the heart and soul of that 49ers defense, and he's getting paid as such. Good for Fred Warner. Well deserved. So with that said, let's jump into our gym dropping session, shall we? I think we shall. Let me drop this gym on your melon. Open your mind, let your conscience be free. You're now rolling with your man, Louie T-E-E. Let me open you up. Get you thinking a little bit. So I wanted to start off the show today with some unhappy campers. So the way I see it, we're heading to training camp. Steelers and the Cowboys, who will be playing in the Hall of Fame game, they had to camp this week. So do the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They had to camp. Everybody else is heading to camp on the 27th, which is next Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. So camp is about to be underway, which means every fan of every fan base is elated. They are out there jumping around, doing backflips, because they're excited because they know football is almost here. That's the sign. That's the signal that shit's about to get real. For as happy as we are as fans, there are some players out there that don't share our exuberance. don't share our excitement for the upcoming training camp season, which is a sign that the preseason is about to get underway, which is a sign that the regular season is about to get underway. I want to talk about some of those unhappy campers that we have. Let's start with the biggest. Name an unhappy camper at this current juncture. Excuse me. I, of course, am talking about Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers. We have chronicled this saga the entire way, and we're going to continue to follow this story that is a developing story as closely as we can until it meets its resolution. And so we got a new wrinkle to this story. And reportedly, Rodgers was offered a 2-year extension by the Green Bay Packers that would have made him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, which means it would have made him the highest paid player in the league per annual salary, obviously. So I think Mahomes is the high watermark right now at about $45 million per year, essentially. So what they're saying is they had a deal, a 2-year extension that would have had him making north of that. So maybe let's call it a 2-year, $98 million extension. What does that put you at? That's what, 47, right? No. What does that put you at? 49, right? That's 49. So that's a little much. I don't think they would have been getting that close to 50. They probably would have just put him over 45. So let's call it a 2-year 94. That'll put you at 47. $94 million extension. That sounds about right. And Rodgers said, no, I'm good. Thanks. But no thanks. So what does that mean exactly? I've contended all along, as with the next unhappy camper, that they're going to be playing for the team that they're currently disgruntled with at the current moment, at this current juncture. They're going to play for the team that they're currently under contract with. Nothing has changed for me. What this says to me, however, and Rodgers has made his stance very clear. Without saying it, he's essentially said it. I don't want to play for the Packers long term unless you get rid of the guy that I deem to be the problem. That guy is Brian Gutekunst. By all accounts, they're not going to fire him. Right? Mark Murphy has already said we're not looking to move on from Brian Gutekunst. And so I don't think that Rodgers is going to get his wish there. I still think he's going to play this upcoming season because he does have another year on his contract. But I think after this season, he wants out. And signing a 2-year extension to play for a team that you have no desire to play for, even though the money is really good, which is what he wanted in the first place. He wanted 2 things. He wanted the money, but more importantly, he wanted the reassurance that he wasn't going to be undercut and blindsided when they decided they wanted to go to Jordan Love. They already blindsided him by drafting Jordan Love, but they could have made everything all better after doing that by then handing him the same extension they just offered him. Had they done that after they drafted Jordan Love, he'd probably be okay. They could have smoothed things over, but they waited because they didn't expect Aaron Rodgers. And Rodgers said it himself. I threw a monkey wrench in their plans when I decided to play at an MVP caliber level. They didn't expect me to be playing at the level that I'm playing at right now. They thought they were going to be able to just shoo me away and insert Jordan Love. I effed up their plans essentially by playing the way that I did and winning league MVP. Now they've got egg on their face. I'm not going to help them remove that egg off of their face. And so he's not interested in signing on long term to be in Green Bay any longer than he has to be. This is his last year in Green Bay. I've contended that all along. He's going to play for the Packers this upcoming season. They're not going to trade him. They would be stupid to do that. Don't trade him. You got one more opportunity to win a Super Bowl, because once Jordan Love is your quarterback, your Super Bowl window shuts effectively the minute Aaron Rodgers is no longer your starting quarterback. Now, maybe Love comes in and he's a lot better than everyone thinks right off the bat, similar to a Patrick Mahomes, and that window opens back up. But until we see that, that window immediately shuts when Aaron Rodgers isn't your quarterback. So if you're the Packers, you want one more crack at that Lombardi. So they're going to keep Aaron Rodgers. They're not going to trade him until after this season, because then they need to find out about Jordan Love. Now you're getting into that dicey territory of, okay, year 3 of Jordan Love. Haven't seen him on the field. Don't know what this kid is about. Now we got to make a decision on a 5th-year option here shortly. Yeah, we need to see Jordan Love. That's next year. That's not this year. So Rodgers is like, I don't want to play for you guys past this upcoming season. Not signing a 2-year extension to lock me in for 2 more years. I'm good. I'll play this year. I want out after this year. And you can start your Jordan Love. You can start the Jordan Love chapter of the Green Bay Packers history next year. But I'll play this year. I don't want your 2-year. I don't want your funky 2-year extension. I want out after this season. That's what that says to me. Not that he's not going to play. It's not what I extrapolated out of this whole ordeal. He's playing for the Packers, but he's doing it on his terms, which is 1 more year with my guys, Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones and all of these guys. 1 more year with Robert Tonyan and company, and then I'm out of here. I'm gone. And I think he's going to let all those guys know, because Devontae Adams hasn't signed an extension yet. Now, he said, look, my money isn't necessarily tied to Aaron Rodgers. So I may come back to Green Bay, but he's already made it known he's interested in playing with his best friend, Derek Carr, as well. And he knows Aaron Rodgers isn't going to be here past the upcoming season. He knows that. He's talked to Aaron. He knows where Aaron's at. So he'd be foolish to sign on the dotted line if he's not sure about Jordan Love. And how could you be sure about Jordan Love? You haven't seen him. Those OTAs that he was able to take the first team reps on, that's great. It's OTAs, okay? It's OTAs. So I don't think this changes the narrative for me. All it says is Rodgers is serious about not playing for the Packers past the upcoming 2021 season. That's all it says to me. We got another unhappy camper. Stephon Gilmore, guy that I've talked about on this podcast as someone that I expect to be in New England. Here's something that I overlooked with his situation. And let me just give you a quick refresher and a recapper as to how we got here. Stephon Gilmore, restructured. This is the thing I missed. I don't know how I missed this and why I haven't brought this up to you guys, but he being Stephon Gilmore, restructured his deal to help New England out last season. They were looking for cap space. They came to Stephon Gilmore and said, hey, we'll give you some upfront money. We'll lower your base number for next year, but we just need the relief right now. He's like, all right, that's cool. I'm pretty sure the Patriots knew that when they did that, he was going to come back to the table again. Like, there's no way they thought he was going to be comfortable making $7 million in base salary. They had to know that when they came to him last year in good faith, asked him to restructure, and he said yes, they had to know that if they didn't have more money coming this man's way, or they weren't going to deal him, that this was going to be an issue. I hope they were smart enough to be able to see that. They've got to have the foresight. They're the Patriots, right? They got to have the foresight to be able to see that. So Stephon Gilmore, in good faith, did the team-friendly thing last year and restructured his deal. And now he's looking at the Patriots in good faith and saying, I helped you out last year. I scratched your back. Now it's time for you to scratch my back. Come on. $7 million isn't enough. You know it's not enough. Come on. Where's my bread at? My plate's looking really empty right now. I need some more food. Where's my bread? That's going to get resolved. I've said this, just like I said with the Aaron Rodgers situation. He's going to remain a New England Patriot. Something will get done there. But I read an article today, and they're phrasing his situation as a holdout. And I said, let me check, make sure I'm not tripping. The Patriots haven't gone to training camp yet, right? Of course they haven't. No team has. I'm saying, so why are we using the phrase holdout, man? And they're like, oh, yeah, because he didn't show up at OTAs in the minicamp. I'm like, really, guy? Really, dude? That's what we're doing now? Somebody doesn't show up for mandatory. Now all of a sudden, or involuntary, they don't show up for that. We're deeming them a holdout? Come on, man. Stop. Shit gets real when dudes don't show up for training camp. Okay? That's when shit gets real. So I don't term him a holdout yet. But the threat of him holding out does exist. And I think he's serious. Again, the CBA is not set up for players to hold out and have it be advantageous. But he did right by the Patriots last year. I think he's assuming that they're going to do right by him this year. And I think they will. But we're getting awfully close. Everybody goes to camp that's not at camp at the end of this week. And there are only 3 teams going: Steelers, Cowboys, Bucks. This week, everybody else, the other 29 teams, are going to camp on the 27th. It's getting really, really close. We're less than a week away. We'll see what happens there. Dolphins cornerback Xavier Howard. We've talked about him being an unhappy camper. We've talked about the reasons why. No update there. Nothing really new in terms of developments with that situation, but we know what it is. Cards are all out on the table. He's expressed the way he feels. They know why he feels the way that he feels. I know why the Dolphins feel like, man, really? Bro, you got 4 years left. You want more bread and your plate is full. We don't even have any space to put the bread on your plate. He's like, yeah, you could just put it at the top. I know where both sides are coming from. The Dolphins, they made this bed, though. And when you make a bed, you got to lay in it. They made this bed when they signed Byron Jones to a deal that was more lucrative than the one they gave Xavier Howard. They were wrong for that. Now they got to pay for that. Literally and figuratively. They got to pay for that. And finally, Cardinals edge rusher Chandler Jones. He's an unhappy camper right now. Okay. He wants more bread. And he's looking around and he's saying, hey, man, everybody around here is getting paid except me. Where's my money at? And the Cardinals are like, hey, Chandler, we love you, baby. Come on, come in. Let's talk about this. He's like, nah, don't Chandler baby me. Don't try that shit on me. I've been cool with y'all. I've rolled with y'all, but I need my money now. Come in, let's talk about it. He's like, nah, I'm done with that. Y'all show me my money, and then I'll show up. That's interesting because, again, as I've reiterated, the CBA is not set up for players to strong-arm teams anymore. That's why the owners set up the CBA the way that they did, so that players no longer had the leverage when under contract. So now it's interesting to see how some of these situations where players have a year or two left on their contract that they're not happy with, how these situations play out. Or in the case of Xavier Howard, 4 years left on their deal and he's not happy. So some unhappy campers. As we get ready to go off for camp, we got some unhappy campers. Let's see if these situations get resolved before the 27th of July. So that's going to do it for the gym dropping session today. We will take a quick break, get a word from one of our sponsors. We'll come back on the other side and we'll jump straight into social media maneuvers where you guys get to take over the show. Start lining up your comments. Use the hashtag LouieTLive to have your comment read in the comment section. If you want to jump to the front of the line, super chats are the way to do that. You are locked into the 182nd installment of the Louie T Network podcast. I will see you guys on the other side. I want to take this time to thank Manscaped for sponsoring the Louie T Network podcast. The Olympics, Euros, baseball, major championships, and concerts are all in this summer. You know what isn't? A wild and hairy bush. Tame your pubes with the help from our friends over at Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming. Their 4th generation performance package includes the brand new Lawnmower 4.0. That's right, 4.0. If an athlete treats their body like royalty, why not treat your pubes like Olympic gold? Fellas, do right by your balls and join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com and using the promo code LouieT. The world is starting to open, and the Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped is here to help you get ready. Inside, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and hair nose trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, plus 2 free gifts, Performance Boxer Briefs and the Shed Travel Bag. Talk about a world-class dismount into post-quarantine world. This package is the perfect package for your package and peak performance in whatever sport you desire. The brand new Lawnmower 4.0 is here to take the podium. This 4th generation trimmer features an edge-cutting ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 also has a 7,000 RPM motor, a new multi-function on and off switch which can engage a travel lock and gives you the ability to turn the 4K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. Did I mention this trimmer is waterproof too? Michael Phelps is drooling just thinking about the possibilities. This package also comes with the Weed Whacker to chop your worst weeds up top in both your nose and your ear. This tool is a lock to take home gold in the biathlon. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor powered 360-degree rotary dual blade system. This nose and ear trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology which prevents nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. After trimming your pubes, then show some sportsmanship with Manscaped's liquid formulations. The Crop Preserver ball deodorant and Crop Reviver ball toner are the key to feeling victorious this year. Manscaped also threw in 2 free gifts to their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. So with all that said, head over to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with the code LouieT. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code LouieT at manscaped.com. Achieve pubic glory this year with Manscaped. And trust me when I tell you this, your balls will thank you. Welcome back to the 182nd installment of the Louie T Network podcast. Of course, I'm your set man, Louie T. Thank you guys for joining me. So if you're out there and you want your comment to be read, please use the hashtag LouieTLive to have your comment read on the air if it is pertinent. Again, try to get to as many of these as possible. If you want to jump to the front of the line, you know the way to do that. Super chats are the way to make your comments priority. So go ahead and do that. If you haven't already done so, want to quickly ask of all of you out there to do me a huge solid, touch that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any content coming out of the Louie T Network. And also, please don't be afraid. It does not bite. Touch the like button if you enjoy this content. With that said, let's get to your comments. And I think I saw a super chat in here somewhere, so I want to grab that one first. And it is from my guy, Silver V. Thank you for the super chat, Silver Villains. My guy, Silver V, writes, I was the first super chat on this episode 181, but you skipped me, shaking my head. I'm sorry about that. Probably had a ton of comments, more likely than not, and it might have pushed your comment out of there. I hate that. Hopefully this platform doesn't do that, but obviously that's one of the drawbacks with these live streams sometimes if you don't get to these super chats right away. Anyway, he says, I said that a good name for your team was the Washington Profits. I read that super chat, though. He says it has dual meaning, which is cool. So I did read that, actually. So you're wrong, not me. Sorry. Can't let you get away with that one. I read that super chat. You talked about the profits. I said they wouldn't name it that. I said the dollar sign on the side of the helmet would look pretty damn cool. I remember saying that as well. But it does have two meanings, but they're not going to name the team the Washington Profits. And so I remember saying that last episode. So I don't know if you were around for that. Now that may be the case that you just weren't around when I read your super chat, but I did make sure that I read that super chat. So in any event, thank you for the super chat. I greatly appreciate you, Silver V, as always, for your support. So let's get to some comments now. Let me make sure I don't have any more super chats, and I do not. And we will start here with Captain Spartan 04, who writes, lots of Steelers media telling me to drink the Steelers juice this year. That the whole team knows how everyone thinks they're going to be terrible, but I don't know if I should drink it. Always listen to your first instincts. Always listen to your gut. If your first instinct tells you don't drink the juice, put the cup down, that's probably what you should do. If you're second guessing yourself and you're wondering if you should or shouldn't, your first inclination is probably the right one. Go with your gut. When you second guess yourself, a lot of times that's when bad things start to happen. A wise woman once told me, your first answer is usually, not all the time, but usually the right answer. Okay. So if you don't think that your team is going to be Super Bowl bound this year, and everyone is telling you the contrary, but in your heart of hearts, you don't see it, you probably should go with what you've been saying all along. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't be good and that those other people won't be right. But what it does is it puts you in a position to either have a pleasant surprise, or you could say, I was right. I told you so. So don't allow yourself to get got and then look back and say, I knew I shouldn't have done that. So that's my opinion. That's my advice to you. Take it for what it's worth. You're a fan, so more likely than not, you're going to probably grab that cup and say, oh, what the hell? And you're probably going to chug it anyway. But I've given you my advice. Got another one from Captain Spartan. He says, sticking with the NBA, can we please stop with the next Kobe? Let these young guys, D-Book, Trae Young, Tatum, and more, be great on their own. Let them make their own careers and establish their own paths. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, people used to do it with Jordan back in the day. Oh, who's the next Jordan? Remember, Harold Miner won the dunk contest, and so he was baby Jordan. And we that's what people do. It's human nature. All right, that's what people do. They try to compare someone to one of the greats. It's a way of establishing a reference point. Okay, that's why we compare numbers. What this guy was doing at year 8 of his career opposed to this guy at year 8. Why? Because we need a reference point. You know, they talked. I remember in Game 5, they panned a shot over at LeBron, who was sitting in the front row over in Phoenix, and they said LeBron didn't break through and win his first title until his 10th season in the league, and Jordan didn't do it until year 9, and Giannis has a chance to do it in year 8. Why do they bring up all those names? Because that's the watermark. That's how they base how they feel about a guy off of looking at other guys that are the benchmark, that are the standard. So it's just a part of the territory. If you're a good enough player, you'll establish your own lane, and people will give you your just due, but it's a part of the territory. Oh, his game looks like so-and-so's. We do it in the NFL. You know, with young guys coming out of the collegiate ranks, what's the first thing that a lot of people like to do with young collegiate players coming into the NFL? Compare them to a player in the NFL. Why? Because it gives you a framework and a reference point to be able to go back to. Oh, man, they said this guy looks like and plays like Earl Thomas. Okay, now you have a sense of what you should expect from this player. It's not too dissimilar from that, but I understand where you're coming from. Let these guys be who they are. And, Devin Booker, yeah, his game looks similar to Kobe Bryant's. So I could see why people, but he's not Kobe Bryant. No one is. Same thing with MJ. These guys are their own players. Over time, that'll prove itself out. Thank you for that comment. Got one here from Jay Will. Thank you for the comment, Jay Will. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Jay Will writes, Aaron Rodgers is heading to host Jeopardy because that man could hold a grudge and Green Bay pissed him off. Yes, he is the type of guy that could hold a grudge, but he also wants to play ball, and I don't see him going a whole year without playing football. And look, while he would love to host Jeopardy, I don't think he is going to jettison football to host Jeopardy on a full-time basis. I heard somewhere that they record all of the Jeopardy episodes in the matter of like 18 days. So he doesn't need to stop playing football to record episodes of Jeopardy. If he only needs 18 days out of a 365-day calendar to record all of the season's worth of episodes of Jeopardy, he doesn't need to leave football to do that. So they're still trying to figure out what they want to do with Jeopardy. They're still going through all of these guest hosts to figure out which one they ultimately want to settle in on. But he's going to play football this year. And it's going to be for the Green Bay Packers more likely than not. So I don't think he is going to leave the sport because he's so pissed off at the Green Bay Packers. I just don't see that happening. Got a comment here from Captain Spartan 04. My guy, Captain Spartan, writes, by the way, I've learned to question Adam Schefter's sources. Aaron Rodgers told Pat a lot of what he says is BS, and Rappaport is saying Adam is recycling old news. You got to learn to take everything that you hear from these insiders, whether it's Schefter or it's Rappaport or any of these guys that cover the league and follow it very closely. You have to understand that they're not going to get everything right. And so they're going to be off base at times. And the only time you can take something and run with it wholeheartedly, which is what we do regardless of where we get the source from. But the only time you can do that with 100%, with 100% certainty is when you get it from the horse's mouth. When you get it from the person in question. It's rare that we get that. It's rare that a player comes out and speaks on their own behalf. So you have to rely on the sources close to the player or sources, within the front office of this team or that team. You have to rely on that stuff because you're rarely going to hear a player speak out on their own situation. It's refreshing when it happens. Like Damian Lillard at the Olympics the other day saying, I never asked for a trade. I never requested for one. You didn't hear that from me. I'm telling you right now, I've never done that. You rarely get that from players, though. And that's why things are allowed to fester and people are allowed to have these stories run and take on a life of their own because a lot of times players don't come out and refute things that are false. So, Schefter could be wrong here with the 2-year extension. And again, everyone's got an agenda. You get that from the Packers. I'm pretty sure he got that from the Packers front office. Someone in there leaked that information to Adam Schefter and said, hey, we offered this guy a 2-year extension that would have made him the highest paid player in the league. He turned it down. The Packers are supposed to do that. When you're in a negotiation, you want to make sure you express to your fan base that we're not the bad guys here. Yeah, we effed up. But we tried to make amends. We offered an olive branch and extended one out to him, and he decided not to take it. We see it so often. Washington football fans will remember when Kirk Cousins was going through his contract situation with Washington, how Bruce Allen pretty much tried to make Kirk Cousins out to be greedy. Oh, we offered him X amount of dollars, and then That contract that he spoke so glowingly about, that we offered him this amount of money, that was peanuts compared to what he ultimately got from Minnesota. I mean, it was laughable. He wasn't even close. So you always have to take that stuff with a grain of salt. Have a super chat here from Darren Long. I want to thank Darren for the super chat. My guy Darren writes, what NFL coach or player would you like to have on your show, and what would be the must-ask question? What NFL coach or player would I like to have on my show? That's a tough one. There's so many guys I would love to have a sit down with, and ask them a million questions. I don't know if I could pinpoint one guy. Of course, I would want to talk to someone that I knew would be truthful with me. More likely than not, it'd be somebody that wasn't in the league anymore, honestly, because it's hard for a player or coach that's still in the league to speak candidly on a topic that we all want to know about. It's not until, 5 or 10 years after the fact that you get all of the real tea that gets spilled. So it probably wouldn't be anybody currently in the league. Now, if you're trying to get to the juicy stuff, if you just want to talk to a guy and ask them some questions, I mean, it's a bunch of players and coaches that, but they're not going to give you what you want. That's the thing. So I don't know if there's anybody in the league, player or coach, that I would want to talk to necessarily, and what would be my one question that I have to ask. I know some players and coaches that I would love to talk to that are no longer in the league, that I think I could get some candid answers from about situations. I'm fascinated by the Robert Griffin III situation. That's why I want my 30 for 30. And I want everybody on record, and I want them to be candid. I don't want people, and I don't think enough people are going to step up and be willing to talk on the record and say what needs to be said. But in the league right now, I'm biased. Of course, I probably want to talk to a Washington football team player. I don't really want to talk to any coaches. That's cool. Talking to coaches are cool, but probably want to talk to a player. And it'd probably be, one of the star players like a Chase Young, Terry McLaurin, someone like that. But again, you put me on the spot. I don't know. I'd have to sit down and come up with a list, because there are probably other guys around the league that I'd love to talk to as well. But you want to make sure you want to talk to someone that wants to talk to you. Like, I know guys that they literally do interviews so that they don't get fined. They have nothing to say to the media. They don't want to talk to you. They're doing it so they don't get fined. So that's a fair question to ask. I don't really have a great answer for you right now, honestly, because the people that I want to talk to are no longer in the league, pretty much. So thank you for that super chat, Darren Long. Got another super chat. This one is from Gunny Man. Thank you for the super chat, Gunny Man. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Gunny Man, writes, and this is in all caps, so he really, really means this. I got Shays starting at free safety. He solidified the back end until injury with McCann, the nickel back. People jumping the gun with Juice. He's a rookie with a learning curve. I think there are a lot of people that are really excited about Juice. You know how I feel about Juice. I want to see what he's able to do. I have my doubts about him and him making a clean, seamless transition into the NFL. I think a lot of people are just looking at Bobby McCain as a safety. They forget that he's more naturally a nickel and was playing safety because the Dolphins decided to throw him back there. So I'm interested to see what Washington has in store for him as well, because they might have signed him all along thinking that, oh, yeah, he's a nickel for us. He's not a safety. And he gives us that, as Ron likes to say, positional flex, where if we need him in a pinch, he can drop back and play some safety for us, but we want him to play nickelback. It's an interesting dynamic. I told you that's why I'm so fascinated with the preseason this year, because we're going to learn a lot about how they envision a lot of these guys fitting into the defense and the roles that those guys will be asked to play. So, I'm a Shays guy, but I know there are a lot of people out there that really loved what Jeremy Reeves did for the team last year as well. But I'm a Shays guy through and through, and I wouldn't see Shays get an opportunity to start the season off, but we'll see what happens. Thank you for that super chat, Gunny Man. Greatly appreciate you. Let's get to some more comments. We'll take about 5 or 6 more, and then we'll move on. See if we can find another one. Captain Spartan says, just saying Gruden's first year, 4th in the AFC West, second year, 3rd in the AFC West, 3rd year, 2nd in the AFC West. Next year will be his 4th year. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. I can't see again, unless something catastrophic happens in Kansas City, this is where the steady incline stops. You know, it may plateau here. And don't forget, Justin Herbert is now on the prowl as well, year 2. He could take a step back in year 2. He could ascend in year 2. We've seen that happen as well. So, and I told you, I love what they're building in Denver. Now the question is, can Drew Lock put it together? If not, this will be his final opportunity to do so in Denver. So it's a tough division. I wouldn't just pencil in Vegas as the second best team and a chance at number 1. The Chiefs are too good. They got Mahomes, and I just see those other teams in the division getting really, getting a lot better. So I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Got another super chat. This one is from my guy, Black Al B. My goodness. It has been ages, bro. Where have you been? Golly, I didn't know if you were still alive. I thought I might have to get Philly's finest to come do a wellness check on you, man. I was getting a little worried. My guy, the Black Al B, writes, yo, Lou, long time no see, my guy. Who you telling? He says, I just have one question. Are you ready for some football? I damn sure am. I cannot wait. Bart Scott, can't wait. Man, it's so good to hear from you, Black Albie. That's when I know it's football season. It's football time. When I start hearing from people like yourself. Really appreciate you. Got another one here from Darren Long. Double up. Thank you for the super chat, Darren Long. Greatly appreciate you, and thank you for doubling up. Who writes, would be fun to see you and Stephen A mix it up. Yeah, that would get ugly, man. That would not be pretty, because let me just say this, I respect the hell out of Stephen A. Smith and what he does. But I also think that the man has a ton of, I don't want to say flaws. That's not the right word. I think his philosophy and some of the things he does is fundamentally flawed. And I think that how he conducts himself sometimes is flawed. And I do think he's a bit of a puppet. But that's what happens when you're being paid the kind of money he's being paid. You don't really get a lot of say-so. So, and there are a lot of things that I disagree with him on. And like I said, I'm passionate. He's passionate. Shit could get ugly really quickly. And as I mentioned, I respect him. Respect his craft and what he does. But I'm not a big ESPN guy, and I'm not a huge fan of a lot of these talking heads out here. And he's one of those guys that I would probably unload on in a situation where we would go head to head. So anyway, I digress. Thank you for the super chat, Darren Long. Got another one here from Gunny Man. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Gunny Man. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Gunny Man, writes, Lou, like me, you from Shark City, so I know you have more Ron's Plan tees. Let him go, bro. Trying to rock one to training camp. I'm gonna get in touch, because you're not the first person to ask me about the Ron's Plan t-shirts. So I may bring those back, because I know a lot of people weren't able to get in on the first wave and they want them. And so give me a couple of days to work with my handlers, and I'm going to see if I can't get that done. If we can't get the Ron's Plan t-shirt back up on the site and get those out to people who want them. So You're right. I got a couple in the stash, but I'm gonna see if I can't get them back on the site so you can get your hands on a couple of them. So hey, appreciate you, Gunny Man, my guy, Gunny Man. Protect Sports Network. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, Protect Sports Network, who writes, "Yo, Lou, what up, bro? Hope all is well, big bro. All is good, man. Thank you for the support and the super chat. All is well in these parts, and looking forward to the upcoming season and all that it brings. You know, it's about to get hectic. You know, it's about to get hectic, but I am ready for it. So, as I imagine you are as well. Thank you for the super chat, Protect Sports Network. Got a super chat here from my guy, John Perez, JP. Thank you for the super chat, JP, who writes, happy to say I'll be heading to FedEx Field with the missus for week 1. I'll be sitting near the left goal line wearing a red 99 jersey. That's dope. And as I usually implore when guys or gals are going to the game, all I ask is that you bring back a dub. So I'm sending you on a mission to go to FedEx, be as loud as you can, and bring home a dub. We need to get off to a great start because weeks like 3 through like 8 are just brutal. So we can't afford to get off to a 0-2 start. Probably need to get off to a 2-0 start. But you know what's better than worrying about avoiding 0-2? Getting off to a 1-0 start, not even having to worry about an 0-2 conversation for us. So I'm gonna put you on the case, man. Go to FedEx and bring back a dub. Hope you guys enjoy yourselves, and you'll have the most fun if the team wins. So thank you for that super chat, JP. Got another one here from the Black Al B. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Black Al B. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Black Al B writes, yo, Lou, one day I had noticed that I hadn't seen any of your videos pop up for me to watch. I go and look. I was unsubscribed from you. Unreal. That tells a lot of the story right there. That explains a lot because I was like, damn, I haven't seen even when we were in the off season, you would pop your head in every now and again just to say what's up. You know, I haven't heard from you since the end of the season. So that is strange. And wonder how that happened. Any event, I'm glad you figured it out. And I'm glad you're back on board because I definitely miss my guy, Black Al B. So really appreciate you. Good to hear from you. And I look forward to chopping it up with you in the future. You had me dying on IG the other day. I'm not going to lie to you, but that's another story for another day. Got another super chat. This one is from my guy, Protect Sports Network. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, Protect Sports Network. Greatly appreciate you, my guy, Protect Sports Network writes, definitely ready for the season. It's lit. Yeah, we're all looking forward to the start of the upcoming season, man. This offseason has been so crazy. This has been like an NBA offseason. So many guys have switched teams. It's crazy. So I'm looking forward to seeing Stafford in Los Angeles. I'm looking forward to seeing Wentz in Indianapolis and Julio in Tennessee and all these guys that have jumped ship, switch teams, looking forward to seeing some of these new coaches like Urban Meyer and what he does in the NFL. Looking forward to seeing these rookies and what they're going to do and what year 2 brings for some of these guys that were fantastic in their rookie seasons last year. So this is a really exciting season. I'm really looking forward to it, as I know many of you are as well. So thank you for that super chat, doubling up, Protect Sports Network. I got another super chat. This one is from my guy, Kevin the PRF. Thank you for the super chat, Kevin the PRF, who writes, well, forget coaches, for controversy's sake, when you getting Stephen A on the show? I mean, obviously, they don't want the smoke. They don't want that. He can sit there and try to use all of these eloquent and big words, but I don't care nothing about that shit. I'm going for the jugular. I'm going at his neck. But again, I don't. I honestly do respect what he does. It's not easy doing what he does, and ESPN, they get every cent out of Stephen A. Smith. You know, they put this guy on everything, boxing, basketball, which is where he should be. He should primarily be talking about basketball. That is where he cut his teeth in the business. That's where he is best. That is where he's the most knowledgeable, where he's forged the most relationships. That's where he should be. That's where I respect his opinion the most. But they got him doing everything. Hell, if they could, they put him on horse racing and golf and hockey. I mean, they get their money's worth out of him. That's for damn sure. But I think that, like I said, there are a lot of things that I don't agree with that he says out of his mouth that I would have to check him on, or at least go at him. And he would try to defend himself, and it would be a back and forth. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. So thank you for that super chat, Kevin, the PRF. Let's see. I want to grab maybe one or two more super chat comments real quick before we move on and close out the show. I want to grab this one from Mega412. Bro, are you honestly okay with our linebacker depth? Seems like a lot of question marks. I've already said that that's one of the positions that I am worried about, depth at linebacker. Am I okay with it? We'll see. I right now going into camp, no, I'm not really all that thrilled about the depth at linebacker, but I told you the frontline guys I'm not concerned about. It's what happens if something happens to them that has me worried, and that's what depth is, you know. So yeah, I've already said this on multiple platforms. I said it on the Big Douglas show. I said it on my own platform that I am somewhat nervous about the lack of depth at linebacker, but we'll see what happens. Got a comment here from Charles Hardy. Thank you for the comment, Charles, who writes, what do you think a realistic average amount of points per game you think we will average this season? Hard to say. What is a great number for this team? I can tell you that without seeing the offense. Now, what do I think we're going to do and what I think is necessary for us to do to be successful are two different things. I can give you what's a good number in the league. Anything over 24 points a game, you're going to have a chance. You really want to be in the high 20s. So anything over 26 points a game, and you got a chance to win every single week. But anything over 24, if you're in the 25-point range, if you're in the 26, you're going to have a chance most weeks. You're over 26, you're in that 27, 28 points a game range, you're going to win more than you lose. If your defense is half decent, we've got a better than half decent defense. So I would tell you that anywhere north of 25 points a game, and we could be staring at double-digit wins. Now, the question, goes back to, how effective are we going to be on offense? And if we're scoring points, is that also coming at the expense of them turning it over? Being aggressive and making some mistakes, putting the defense in some tough spots, things of that nature. There's so many different nuances to that question because you got to factor in special teams. Are we making our field goals, our extra points? Are we leaving points out on the field? Are we giving up things in the special teams game? All of those points get charged to the defense's account, even if they don't have anything to do with it. If a quarterback throws a pick six, they don't separate that and say, oh, well, the defense only gave up 17. No, the defense gave up 24, even though they didn't have anything to do with 7 of those points. So there are a lot of different nuances to that question, but anything north of 25 points, to me, gives us a chance to win double-digit games. So I got to see what is a reasonable number for us to average this season once I see the offense. Give me about 2 or 3 weeks of football, and I'll be able to say, okay, I see what the offense is, and this is what we'll be able to do. Teams are going to make adjustments, obviously, so that number could change, but I'll have a really good feel because the preseason isn't a great indicator of what's to come. Obviously, you get vanilla defenses from the opposition, and you're not trying to show your hand in the preseason either. So we'll find out. We'll find out relatively early what this offense really is all about. So thank you guys. Oh, got a couple super chats here. This one is from King Izzy. Thank you for the super chat, King Izzy. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, "What's up? Did you catch the finals?" I did talk about the finals briefly at the top of the show. Maybe it wasn't briefly. I might have talked for 10, 11 minutes. I don't know how long I talked for. Probably, it felt like 6, 7 minutes. I started out the show talking about that. So if you want that conversation, go back to the beginning of this podcast and you will find me discussing Giannis, what this championship does for him, and essentially the whole landscape of the NBA and why I really am a massive Giannis Antetokounmpo fan. I'm really happy for him hoisting the O'Brien Trophy. Thank you for that super chat, King Izzy. Got another one from Gunny Man who triples up here. Really appreciate you, Gunny Man, who writes, "Let them go, bro. Let them go. Hail to the Dubs." You already know what it is. You know what it is. I'm holding on to my stash. So I'm gonna see what I can work up, man. You know what it is, though. You already know what it is, Gunny Man. So with that said, let's get to our final segment of the show, garbage time. So what I want to talk about here in garbage time, and for those of you out there who haven't already done so, please hit the subscribe button, tap that notification bell so you don't miss a thing, and also hit the like button. Really do appreciate you guys out there. What I want to quickly just get into is the injury reaper is out to task. And I know a lot of you saw this yesterday, but the first real major injury of the camp season happened yesterday with Rams running back Cam Akers sustaining an Achilles tear. Going to miss the entire 2021 season. Prayers go out to him and a speedy recovery. And so we've seen injuries already. Jawan James is a guy that went down early on in the offseason. There was a lot of brouhaha with that situation because the Broncos were pissed off because he was working away from the team when he tore his ACL or his Achilles. I can't remember if it was an Achilles or ACL, but he hurt himself away from the Broncos team facility. They were pissed off. They released him, and he was picked up by the Ravens. There's a grievance that's filed on his behalf with the league because he feels like the Broncos might have done him wrong by releasing him. And so the NFLPA is looking into that. And Cam Akers' injury hits different because Jawan James didn't play last year. He opted out of the season. So the Broncos were able to, get by without his services. They were looking forward to getting him back in the mix this year, but they thought that they could survive without him. And I think they're in a position to be able to do that. That said, Cam Akers was going to be an integral part of the Rams' success this year. He proved last year that he has the ability to be one of the better feature backs in the league, and he has the goods to be one of the better young backs in the league. He came off of a really strong finish to the season as a rookie, and he had a phenomenal postseason run with the Rams, and they were looking forward to an encore and what they were going to get out of him in year 2, and now you get the Achilles injury. He's going to be done for the season, and to me, that's just a brief reminder, and that's just a warning shot. Pop, 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 pop into the air from the injury reaper. He's like, yo, I'm out here in these streets. Protect your stuff because I'm visiting some of these camps. Just putting you on notice right now. I'm making my rounds. Shit's not going to be pretty. If you want something to make it to the starting blocks, I surmise you put out the word that I'm making my rounds. So y'all know what it is. It's the injury reaper doing what he does best. Shattering dreams and ending seasons. Be careful out there. This is for fan bases everywhere. Be careful out there. Injury reaper has no remorse nor any regards for anybody, for none of you. Protect your stuff. Hide the wife and kids. It's about to get ugly outside. And he just let off some warning shots. And I feel for Cam Akers. And that's a devastating blow to the Rams. They've got other guys, and they came out and said, look, we're not going to replace him right now. We like the backs that we have. We'll see how far they go with that and how long they stick with that line of we love our backs before they call up Adrian Peterson, the guy that I said could still do it, looking for work. You know, Todd Gurley, I think he's still out there. He's in all true, man. Yeah, babe. I think he's still out there. What about a Rams reunion? I doubt it. But I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Protect your stuff. That's the message for today's garbage time. Protect your stuff. The injury reaper is out to task. Be careful. So that's going to do it for me, your man, Louie T, on the 182nd installment of the Louie T Network podcast. I really do appreciate you guys kicking it with the man, your man, Louie T. Looking forward to chopping it up with you guys on Friday. If you're a Washington fan, looking forward to chopping it up with you tomorrow night. And if you are subbed up to the CCS, I'm looking forward to chopping it up with you tonight. So a lot of content coming you guys' way. Keep your eyes peeled. Stay tuned. But until then, I'm your man, Louie T. Remember, get off the bench, get in the game, and kick it with me, your man, Louie T. Until next time, you guys take care and have a good one.